Okay. In 1994, I turned 40 and became an official old maid. I was unmarried, and I was more likely to be hit by lightning to find a husband, which I really wasn't looking for either one, so it didn't matter. Old maids are kind of a combination of Aunt Bee, Mother Teresa, and Carrie Nation. We sit at home and crochet doilies, wait for death, and have cobwebs forming in our vaginas. Men over 40, on the other hand, are like Austin Powers, George Clooney, and James Bond, and because of Viagra, they can chase and bed women for the rest of their lives as long as they have 30 minutes notice. An old maid is defined as a woman who has not formed a human pair bond, which leaves us open to the crazy cat ladies, which is really good news. Now, old maids are the kernels of popcorn that didn't pop, assuming we never popped. Well, we pop. Some of us popped our brains out. Some of us are still popping, you know. Pop, 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 pop. Some of us aren't popping. Being a nun is one of the best excuses for being an old maid that there is. But, you know, there's another excuse that used to be really good, but on August 1st it'll go away. Being a lesbian no longer allows you to be an old maid, because if you're over 40 and you don't have a wife, you're part of the group now. A Kids Experience Old Maid says the card game is women with bad hats and high collars and smiles that tell you, for God's sakes, don't look in the freezer. And I was really looking at Old Maid, and I realized, you know, you combine the ballerinas together, the firemen together. The Old Maid's the only straight person in the card deck. Don't tell the Tea Party, because they'll be burning those cards in the square. When I was growing up, these are some of the old maid role models I had: a comedy writer, a housekeeper, a legal secretary, and a saloon keeper who everyone thought was also a madam, I guess was the word. And then came our friend Mary Richards. And in the 1970s, she left her fiance, drove a kick-ass Mustang to Minneapolis, and turned the world on with her single working girl smile. There are some other role models, not quite as great. You had the starship captain, the warrior princess, and a superhero. And if you have a time machine and big boobs, you can probably follow one of those role models. Of course, one of the greatest role models were the Golden Girls. You know, they talked about sex and men a lot, but none of them were desperate to get married. They had cheesecake. They knew. There's many reasons why women don't get married, and here are some of them. Do I really need to say anything? Ronald Reagan, I've been haunted by that picture ever since I saw it. A lot of women get married, especially younger women, because they feel, you know, they have to, or they think marriage is going to be great, or they think that being single will be horrible. And I'd like to introduce a few of the older old maids that really have done things. Dr. Helen Taussig developed a way to treat blue babies. Helen Hawkinson was a New Yorker cartoonist. Maggie Kuhn in the 60s formed the Gray Panthers when she was forced to retire. Louisa May Alcott was an author and an abolitionist. Diane Fossey, as we all know, did the Gorillas in the Mist and got Sigourney Weaver out of Aliens. Rachel Carson, her book was probably the beginning of the environmental movement. Some new old maids: Sheryl Crow, Betty White, and unfortunately Secretary Condoleezza Rice. And that's just because Laura won't leave George. We're all pretty sure of that. We also have Harper Lee, Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan, And of course, one of the most influential people in the world, and next in line for the throne of God is Oprah Winfrey. So I'm an old maid. I think I'm in good company. I'm pretty happy, but now I'm going to go home and crochet myself a shawl, feed my 14 cats, and cry myself to sleep. Thank you very much.